We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Number 9, we will turn off the jobs and benefits magnet. We will ensure that E-Verify is used to the fullest extent possible under existing law, and we will work with Congress to strengthen and expand its use across the country. Immigration law doesn't exist for the purpose of keeping criminals out. It exists to protect all aspects of American life: the work site, the welfare office, the education system, and everything else. That is why immigration limits are established in the first place. Number 10, we will reform legal immigration to serve the best interests of America and its workers, the forgotten people, workers. We're going to take care of our workers. And by the way, we're going to make great trade deals. We're going to renegotiate trade deals. We're going to bring our jobs back home. We're going to bring our jobs back home.
Travelers to the U.S. may soon need to reveal 5 years of social media history before they're allowed into the country. It's all part of a newly proposed law by the Trump administration. The plan would affect 42 countries, which are part of a visa waiver program, such as Australia, Japan, much of Europe, including the United Kingdom. Those visitors would have to share their online records, as well as other, quote, high-value data like DNA and family details. While Canada is not on that list, the rule could have an effect on some Canadian temporary residents who need an American visa.
An AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully. Here I come.
Oh. The Skynet funding bill is passed. The system goes online on August 4th, 1997. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2.
An AI verification, announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that.
A plan to create a digital ID system for Americans is now being rolled out, and Alaska is becoming the first testing ground. This ties in with changes being made to the state's My Alaska digital identity system, which is now being interwoven with artificial intelligence and payment functions. Now, according to a document from Alaska's Department of Administration's Office of Information Technology, as obtained by Reclaim the Net, it says, the state is considering implementing agentic artificial intelligence models within My Alaska application to enhance service delivery to users of the application. So, what does that actually entail? Well, one part would be to allow AI to complete applications, do eligibility checks, and complete, quote, multi-step government service transactions on behalf of users. But the plan actually goes further than this. They're looking to integrate biometric authentication. Think facial recognition, fingerprinting, and also have smart wallet integration in the app as well. Now, look, this has some benefits. It really does. Mainly when it comes to efficiency, ease of use, especially security. It can do a lot of good to get rid of, theft and fraud, for example. But this also represents a problem of just overall consolidation. all of your info, your biometrics, your financial information, potentially even like your internet activity, your digital footprint, all collected in a single place and then monitored with an all-seeing artificial intelligence system working for the government that's going to look for anything and everything that's off. But this plan in Alaska, it's also raising concerns over potential abuses that have been seen in countries that actually already have similar systems. We can look, for example, at the Chinese Communist Party's social credit system, one of the worst case examples we see in the current state of the world. In China, under the communist regime, the system gives every single person a good citizen rating or a bad.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation, and that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, what brings us to our discussion / topic tonight is the talk of digital IDs, currencies, and biometrics, okay? Tracking systems, all right? Now, those was a collage of clips put together to show you or convey to you a message that's getting ready to come, that's already being trial or put at a test run in a state not too many know of, Alaska. All right? They're using the AI to test pilot or to upgrade their My Alaska government website, all right? Where they're going to use AI, as we heard Mr. Donald J. Trump say that AI is going to be verified, where you're going to have a way to know that the AI that you see is actually being verified. All right, they're trying to get executive orders for that. All right, AI verification. Okay, because right now AI is running amok. All right, with celebrities, with past and present celebrities. You know, you don't know what you're looking at anymore. All right, and that's done deliberately. All right, they want to saturate the market with all this AI. All right, so when the government comes with their AI, they're going to use it for what? You heard Trump say it could be used for bad or good. They're going to use it, or they're going to pitch it to you as they're using it for the betterment of the people, not for the worse. All right, as we see AI in TikToks and YouTube, you know, Kobe, Tupac, you know, Hulk Hogan, all of this AI, they're allowing the market to be saturated with AI, all right? Because they're showing you how it can be used, but then they're going to pitch to you, the consumer, how well it can be used for the betterment of humanity, all right? With sites such as Make or My Alaska, government.com or whatever, all right? And like we said, and like they said, Alaska is being the trial or the test run for this biometric AI digital wallet, currency, cryptocurrency. It's all coming together, all right? And we see back in 2022, Trump said he wanted to implement something like what? A biometric tracking system. For what? The immigrants. So it's by no sheer coincidence that you now see an uptake since he took office for his second term, that he's deporting so many immigrants, okay? Because eventually this system that we have right now is going to be outdated, and they're going to have to bring in a more efficient biometric tracking system, all right? Where they're going to use AI as a major component to this, okay? So this is the time that we're living in. All right. And you've seen also that now they're trying to implement where if you are a non-U.S. citizen entering into the country, they need to check 5 years of your prior social media history. All right. They want to take DNA. Okay. A man shall desire to go into a city, but shall not be able to. All right. I believe that's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the direction that we're heading into. Okay. Because why? They have an agenda that they need to get up and running by 2030. Okay. So what are they doing? They're putting in the works to this beast system. AI verification system. Biometric tracking system. AI verification digital wallet. It's moving quick. Okay? Isaiah 19 and verse 4. And the Egyptians. All right, now we know America is known as spiritual Egypt, Sodom, and Gomorrah. So these Egyptians are speaking of who? You Americans. All right. It says, "In the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord." All right. Which we believe is Donald J. Trump. We believe that he's going to be the one in charge when this digital system gets introduced to the whole earth or world. All right. And they're setting it up right before our very own eyes here in America. And they're starting all the way out in Alaska. And you've seen how the other video was trying to show that they're trying to similar follow after the ways of China with a credit score system. Well, it's going to be able to do all of that. It's going to be able to track who you are. You're going to have more than likely some type of digital password or code to get on the internet and to use any of this government websites. They're going to make it to where you have to sign up to get this, okay? It's not far-fetched, all right, to once believe we used to use payphones. Now, look, you don't come across payphones like you once did. Because why? Everyone has a smartphone. This is how they push out the old by forcing you to adopt to the new. All right? And we're going to adopt to the new and to the point to where they ask us to put it inside of our bodies. Then from that point forward, we don't adopt to this new world order, this beast system. So it says, "In the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them." Right. "Saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts." The Lord Yahweh is putting this into play. This is Proverbs 21 and verse 1. It reads, "The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh." See? Your heart goes into what? Your mind. So it is the Lord that's working on this man's heart, his mind, to help bring forth his agenda. Because why? The time is running short. He knows he has but a short time. Revelation 12 and 12. So although he would like for you to believe that he's going to drag this out to the end of his term, because don't forget, over in UK, they're trying to force their people to what? Get digital IDs to be compulsory to work. In order to work, you have to have a digital ID that the prime minister is trying to get that made mandatory by the end of his parliament or his term. China already got their credit score system up and running. So America has to play catch up. All right. And this is exactly what's going on. They're introducing this system systematically, bit by bit. All right. And all it's going to take is one red flag or catastrophe. And then here we go. So it says, "The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh." See? "As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about this. The Lord Yahweh, through his only begotten son Yahushua, is making this devil bring forth this beast system. Because this mark belongs to the Lord. The Lord Yahweh is going to use this mark to separate the elect from the non-elect of Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. All right? So he's turning the king's heart with his hand, whithersoever he will, like what? Rivers of water. All right? And we know behind closed doors that Trump is getting orders from these elites, but guess what? The Lord controls them as well. Okay? So everything works for the better of those that fear the Lord. All right? Because these Egyptians that's going to be given over to this cruel Lord, which is Donald J. Trump, we believe, is going to be what? Forced to take this biometric tracking system, which is eventually going to turn into what? The RFID microchip. And then they're going to be destroyed in the lake of fire when the thermonuclear missiles come to destroy Babylon the Great, the United States of America. All right? So let's go back there and read that again. Isaiah 19 in verse 4. It reads, it says, Isaiah 19 and 4, and the Egyptians, you modern day Americans, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Right? And we're seeing what's going to be oppression to the utmost degree being set in place right now, where you're going to be tracked every way and every step of your life. From having the autonomy to go as you please to now you can only, there will be no more savings. Now you can only spend this amount of money this month. You can only eat this amount of food this month. You can only go this amount of places in your car this month. All right? Trump has put a ban, or he's trying to implement a ban on 19 countries. Okay? This was never about deportation of immigration. It was about a system that they're putting into place by using so-called illegal immigrants. This is what it's always been about. They can't just come forth outright and tell you. So they got to use a red herring. Oh, we're going to deport all the illegal immigrants. They've been on this since day one. They're ramping up the deportation because they got to get this biometric system, tracking system up and running soon. All right. And a lot of you that don't comply to it will be deported. It says, in the Egyptians will I give over unto the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them. See, you Americans, you don't know what you got in store for you, all right? And make no mistake about it, he knows he's going to be met with resistance. That's why he's putting the first line of defense into place come January 1st, 2026, by the way of implementing 500 National Guards to each and every state in the United States of America. It says, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. So it's getting ready to come down the pike, okay? Those restrictions, those, tracking measurements. And if you don't want to comply, you will be tossed away. You'll be tossed in the slammer, locked up. And eventually, if you don't get the memo, you'll have your head beheaded. Okay? So this is exactly where we're at. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. It reads, and he, who is the he? Esau Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man. And he causes, go into that word causes, goes into what? Constitute. What's another word for constitute? Make mandatory. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, This is that hand of the cruel Lord. He's getting ready to come down with this. All right? Why? Because the Lord controls the heart of the king. He turn it whithersoever he will, like the rivers of water, or like the water of rivers. It says, and great, rich, and poor, free, and bond to receive a mark. They're not going to force this mark on you. They're going to give you the ultimatum. Either you get it or you don't use any of our services. So essentially, you will be having to remove yourself from off their grid, which for majority of the people is going to be impossible because they don't know anything else but to live off this government grid. That's why it says in Isaiah 31, woe to them that go down to Egypt. Isaiah 31 and verse 1. All right? It's going to be destruction for you because you're going to be through once you take this charagma. So it says, and great, rich, and poor, free and bond to receive a mark. They're going to give you the opportunity to receive that mark. They're not going to force it to you. They're not going to force it on you. They're going to give you the opportunity to, hey, here is the government form of this mark. Take it or leave it. And if you consent to them, you're going to be trodden down under feet. All right? I believe that's in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Those that consent, right around verses 66 or 68, probably up into 71 or 2, those that consent shall be trodden under feet. Once you consent to this cruel Lord, there goes everything you thought you had. Your self-autonomy, your free will, whatever you thought you had is going to be taken away. All right? See, that's why those of us that are fighting to endure to the end, are getting on board, are getting in line with what Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah say. All right? Because there's mercy and grace in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, but not so much or not at all in this system that's getting ready to come up online under Esau Edom. All right? Because we know that he is the wicked of the earth. So it says, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This is part of their cruelty. All right? Because in order for you to get whatever it is that they're selling or giving to you, whether it's universal basic income, because Alaska is also trying out $1,000 a week currency, or they're getting ready to. So whatever it is they're going to show and give to you, you're going to have to receive that mark. Why? It says, in that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're going to have to take that device, all right? And once you do, that's the end, okay? And we telling you through the power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai that this devil is putting these measurements into place right now for this time when it comes. Habakkuk 2 and 3. The vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not tarry. Because once it's here, that's it. All right? It's go time. Okay? It's who do you believe? Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, or this devil and his dominion and his minions. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. Which is this Rome Empire revive all over again under America. It says, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 666, 666, chi, psi, stigma. When you go into that word stigma, it means to prick. They're going to prick or pierce your skin with that hypodermic needle. And in doing so, they're going to insert that charagma, that RFID microchip, roughly about the size of a grain of rice, inside your right hand or your left hand, whichever one is your dominant hand, because that word goes into dexterity, or in your forehead. So the system is being put into place right before our very own eyes. But see, what are our people and heathens alike doing? Worried about Christmas, worried about New Year's. They're not going to be ready for when this devil get ready to roll in on them. As it says in Isaiah 59 and verse 19, when the enemy should come in like a flood. They ain't going to be ready. But see, that standard is going to be lifted The elect, they're ready because why? Let's go there. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. This is why the elect will be ready for this. Lord willing, we of that number. It says, 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant. See, when the enemy is rolling in and is going to roll out this system, we're going to be already prepared because why? We're sober. We're vigilant. We're watching. We're not being distracted or being, sidetracked by the ways of this world. All right? Which is only here to distract the 2/3 of our people alongside the other heathen nations. All right? Because they don't have anything to lose anyways. Because why? Repentance wasn't afforded to them in the beginning. All right? So those other nations that are outside of Israel here in America, they're going to be destroyed anyways. All right? They come back in the kingdom through their counterparts outside of America that makes it out of here alive. But those that are here in America, they're going to be what? Utterly destroyed along with 2/3 of our people. And they'll come back through the elect that makes it out of America here alive. All right, in the kingdom. So it says, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, yes, that same cruel Lord that is putting this system together for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you 2/3, which is why it's known as Jacob's trouble. Because why? Only Jacob will be allowed to be delivered out of that. The elect of Jacob. Not the 2/3. But it's going to try the whole earth. Make no mistake about it. Revelation 3 and verse 10. So it says, because your adversary, the devil, Esau, Edom, that same one that it says, and he causes all. That's the devil. It says, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. That's the cruel Lord, man. He wants to see how many people that's going to consent so they can be trodden down under feet once this system is up and running. All right, and then ultimately be destroyed by what? The way of thermonuclear fire, those ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, so we are to keep a watch or an eye out for these things and sound the alarm, especially the closer we get to the end, which we're at the end now. All right, we're just waiting for a few more prophecies. Famine of the word, the mark of the beast, and the missiles. Okay, we ain't got too much more longer. All right, Lord willing, we can endure all the way into the end. All right, so I believe that's going to conclude the lesson for tonight. And with that being said, pray some more is edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace. Fair use for that one scene too in that clip with, you know that what I'm trying to say. But shalom. Peace.